Good morning. Yeah. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning, all. So sorry for the late. So let me connect the whiteboard. Okay. So by that, rest of all let's join. Guys, what is the syllabus status in the other courses? Anyone?
Sir,
What is the syllabus status in the other courses?
3 modules completed, sir.
3 computed, huh? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So 4th is going on, I think. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Oh. So let everyone join. So they are joining now. So have you? Guys, have you all practicing the problems? So I hope have you found thin cylinders problems in your presentation, isn't it? So I have shared all those to you. So when the first meet commences, I have forwarded you the presentation, right, for the thin cylinders. So please try to practice all those problems, okay? So they are going to be helpful to you. So in terms of, competitive exams at the same way, even for your external exams also, okay? Yeah. So let's just revise the things what we discussed in the previous class on the thick cylinders, okay? So let me share the screen. Yeah. So good morning all. So in the previous class, we have started with the thick cylinders. Thick cylinders. So let me just go through points. What are the major points which we discussed? By that we can start the Lemis equation. Okay. So basically, the thick cylinders are the cylindrical vessels. So which are going to contain the fluid which is under pressure. So where the wall thicknesses are not smaller than the d by thickness, which is should not be less than d by 28 times. Okay. And basically these thick shells, so where the radial stress will be the more, it is not at all the negligible. Why? Because your cylinder is subjected to external pressure also along with the internal pressure. Okay. So when it is subjected to internal external pressure, obviously internal pressure, due to the internal pressure, the internal stress will be more, and due to the external pressure, external stress will be always there, but it won't be more than the internal pressure. So the stress will be maximum at inside layer, and the stress will be minimum at the outside layer. Okay. And where usually it is equal to 0 if it is exposed to the atmosphere. So that's what we discussed in the previous class. And the circumferential stress are also varies along the thickness, isn't it? So when it varies, so obviously it varies along its thickness also. And the variation in the radial stress as well as the circumferential stress across the thickness are going to be obtained by Lamis equation. Okay. So why? Because your longitudinal stress will depends on its thickness, and the circumferential and radial stress will depends on its internal diameter of the section. Okay. So by that, if you want to calculate the radial stress and circumferential stress together, so you are supposed to define an equation which is called as a Lamis equation. Okay. So which is very, very important for your examination. So which is the Lami's equation. So we discussed the few assumptions before deriving the equation, isn't it? So what are the assumptions, Amma? So obviously we know the material is homogeneous and isotropic, right? And the plane sections which are going to be perpendicular to the longitudinal axis of the cylinder, so which is going to be plane even after the internal pressure is subjected within the cylinder, and the material is stressed within the elastic limit. Okay, so that means your stress is directly proportional to strain, so where the stresses are within the elastic limit only, and all the fibers of the material, all the fibers of the material are free to expand or contract independently without being constrained. So I think you all derived a derivation for a pure bending equation, isn't it? So where the beam, when it is subjected to load, okay, when the beam is subjected to load, so each fiber or each layer in the beam is free to expand, isn't it? So when it expands, so obviously every layer is free to expand. Okay, no layer is no layer is constrained over there. In the same way, even in the cylindrical vessel, okay, or a thick cylinder, when it is subjected to internal pressure, okay, so every layer is free to expand. Okay, so there is no constraint in any layer. Okay, so it can have an expansion, okay, so freely. So that is what an assumption which we make in the Lami's equation before we start the derivation, right? So these are the assumptions, Amma. So by that we can start the derivation. So a thick cylinder which is subjected to internal external pressure, okay, internal external pressure, so where the radial stress is going to be derived. Okay, so let's start the derivation. So by that we can understand. So what will be the formulas for the Lami's equation? Okay, I mean radial stress and circumferential stress formulas. So keep the heading Lami's equation. So you can also start doing parallelly along with me. Okay, because this is one of the important derivation as per your external examination concern. Okay. So let me draw the diagram first. Right. So let's take a thick cylinder. Okay. Obviously, thick cylinders are. One second, Amma. Hello, madam. I'm in class, ma'am. Can I call you later, ma'am? Okay. See, as I told you, thick cylinders will have more in thickness. Okay. So by that, you are supposed to consider your cylinder like this. Okay. So in this, let's take a small strip. Let's take a small strip. Okay. So obviously, as I told you, it will have a pressure from outside. Okay. So your atmospheric pressure on the thick cylinders will also be there from outside. Along with that, there will be an internal pressure also, which is going to be acted. Okay. Yeah. So this is your strip. Okay. So let's take this pressure as P2 and this pressure as P1, right? And what is this? So this is your elemental ring or elemental strip. Okay. So in this, if you see it clearly, okay, so take this small portion in the elemental strip itself, take a small portion over here, okay. So what will be the radial stress? See, if you because this whole thickness is subjected to the stress, isn't it? So what is this? So this is your pressure, and if you see the radius, okay, this pressure, and this is your radius R1 for the internal radius R1, okay, and this is your internal radius R2, Avuna? Right? So this is your internal radius R1, and this is your external radius R2 from the center of your cylinder. Yeah. And what will be the radial stress to this strip? So the radial stress towards the strip will be stress R, right? And what will be the radial stress to this strip? ఈ స్ట్రిప్ మీద యాక్ట్ అవుతున్న రేడియల్ స్ట్రెస్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది? సో దిస్ విల్ బి radial stress plus differential in radial stress. Okay. And what happens to the circumferential stress? How the circumferential stress will act? Your circumferential stress will act like this within the circumference. Will act out. Okay. So what is this? This is sigma C, and this is sigma C. So sigma C, which is going to act circumferentially, and radial stress, which is going to act towards the strip as a sigma R. Okay. And what will be this thickness? This thickness is dr. So differential in radius. Okay. So by these parameters, so let's start the derivation. As a thick cylinder which is subjected to both internal and external radial stress, so what is your R1 there? Internal radius of thick cylinder, R2 external radius of thick cylinder, L, which is the length of the cylinder, because every cylinder will have a particular length, isn't it? Okay, in its longitudinal direction. So like this. Okay. So as it is more in thickness, so this is your length L. And what is this? So this is the thickness of your thick cylinder. Okay, right. Yeah, and what is P1? P1 is the pressure on the inner surface. Inner surface of the cylinder. And P2 will be the same pressure which is acting from outer surface of the cylinder. And what is sigma R? Sigma R, which is your internal radial stress. Because radial stress will always act internally, which is on the elemental ring. Okay. And what is your sigma C? Which is your circumferential stress. On elemental ring. So when you start calculating what is your radial stress to the elemental ring, what is your circumferential stress with the elemental ring with respect to the differentiation, by integrating that, you can able to calculate what will be the overall radial stress and what will be the overall circumferential stress. Okay. So that's how we are going to take an elemental strip to calculate what are the radial and circumferential stresses which are going to be acted on the elemental strip. Okay, right. So yeah, so this is what the information which we required for doing the derivation. Okay, so okay, so I think you understand. So let me keep this diagram here. So let me erase this. So now for calculating the radial stress and circumferential stress, what we have to do first, as you know, in the thin cylinders also we have done the same thing. Em cheyalama for calculating that? Can anyone? What we have to do for calculating the radial stress and circumferential stress with the help of the elemental strip? So first we have to calculate what is the bursting force, and then we have to do what is the resisting force. By making these two forces equilibrium, so then you can able to achieve what is your radial stress and circumferential stress, isn't it? Okay, so with that motto we are going to start the derivation, right? So now in this Lami's equation, so by taking the conditions as equilibrium, okay, so the conditions for equilibrium. Why equilibrium? Because definitely if you want to make your thick cylinder safe under pressure, your bursting force which is developed due to the internal pressure is going to be equal with the resisting force, isn't it? So the conditions for equilibrium on one half of the elemental ring are as follows. So that means, so first you are going to, so this is what a portion of the elemental ring. Okay, so for this portion, so let's start doing how this portion is going to be subjected to internal pressure. So where the radial stress and circumferential stress are going to be acted at the same way. So by taking this small half of the elemental portion, so let's start calculating what will be the bursting force at this particular part. Okay, and how this portion is going to be resisted due to the due to the bursting force. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so your bursting force, yeah. Tell me what will be the bursting force and what will be your resisting force. So which makes your member to get burst, Amma? So your bursting force will be, yeah, your radial stress into
P1.
so here your length also will comes into picture. Okay, so where you're bursting, so let me write first the derivation, so by that we will start explaining that. 2 into RL, radial stress into length, minus sigma plus differentiation with respect to radial stress into 2 of R plus dr into L. So this is your bursting force, which is going to be 2L of minus sigma R into dr minus R into d into sigma R minus dr into d sigma R. So finally it can written as 2L of sigma R into dr plus R into d sigma R. So this is the first equation. So where your this particular strip is subjected to bursting, and by neglecting the product of the small quantities, why? Because so we can avoid the small quantities which are going to be considered as a negligible. Okay, and your resisting force will be 2 times of circumferential stress into L into dr. So this is your resisting force. By equating these two, you can able to get the equilibrium condition where you can able to calculate your circumferential stress with respect to your radial stress. Okay. So this is your bursting force and this is your resisting force. Okay. So these are all derivations where you can able to calculate your elemental strip portion which is subjected to radial. See, don't think that radial stress and circumferential stress are interrelated. Okay. So if you want to control your radial stress, obviously your member should have a circumferential stress with respect to its length. Okay. So length also is very important. So you may think that length will be only efficient to calculate the longitudinal stress. No. So length also will be very important. Why? Because to what length your circumferential and radial stresses are going to be acted. Okay. So with that picture, your length is very important, right? So this is your bursting force, which is 2L of sigma r into dr plus r into differentiation of the sigma r. So this is your bursting force. If you want to control your bursting force, your strip should have a resistance towards the bursting force with respect to its circumference. Okay. So by that 2 into sigma c into L into dr is your resisting force, right? So let's equate these two, this portion and this portion. So by that you can able to get your circumferential stress in terms of the radial stress. Okay. So how you are going to achieve the radial stress alone anedi, let's see by equating these two. For your equilibrium condition, equating the resisting force to bursting force, your 2 sigma c into L into dr should be equated with 2L of sigma r into dr plus r into differentiation of, sorry, it's a diameter of the sigma r, and your sigma c is equal to minus sigma r minus v into, so why? Because your volume, sorry, not v, r into d into sigma r by dr. So let's take this as a third equation. So by equating these two, your sigma c is equal to minus sigma r minus r into d sigma r by dr. So now let us obtain your another relation, which is between the radial stress and the circumferential stress by using the condition. So where your longitudinal stresses at any point in the section is going to be same. So why? Because when the same pressure which is going to acted in even in the longitudinal direction, at any point or at any instant, your longitudinal stress or a longitudinal pressure also will be same. Okay. అంతేగాని సిలిండర్ లో ఒక దగ్గర ప్రెషర్ ఎక్కువ ఒక దగ్గర ప్రెషర్ తక్కువ ఉండదు. Okay. So by that, by taking that condition, your longitudinal stress, so which is sigma L, is P into, so where the pressure is P1, which is acting from internally, pi R1 square by pi of R2 square minus R1 square, which can be written as P1 R1 square by R2 square minus R1 square. Okay. So this is your longitudinal stress. So now, after getting all three equations, so we got a sigma c, so we got sigma L, with respect to that, we can able to calculate your radial stress also. So where at hence any point in the section, so whatever the section you take in the thick cylinders, the elemental ring is considered as the three principal stresses which are going to be acted in the member. Okay, so that means if you take this strip alone, ఈ strip ని బయటికి తీసుకొస్తే, so it will be something like this strip, so which is going to have a circumferential stress, which is nothing but a hoop stress. Okay, and the other one in this direction, a radial stress, and there will be another stress which is your longitudinal stress, and at this particular strip. Okay, so by taking that into consideration, so where your radial stress is going to be sorry, a small mistake, because we all know the radial stress is going to act towards inside kada, yeah, like this. Okay, and this is your longitudinal stress. So where your circumferential stress is under tension and your longitudinal stress is also under tension, but your radial stress will be under compression. So why? Because radially, so because if you see the pressure, this pressure is acting radially towards center of the section. This will makes your this pressure will make this elemental strip to have a compression nature. So by that your radial stress will be under compression, obviously. Okay, so in that way, since the longitudinal stress is constant throughout the length of the member, so by considering that, we can able to calculate your longitudinal stress and the radial stresses, or as even the circumferential stress, with by taking the strains as constant. Okay, so that means, let me keep those three stresses like that, and by taking your strain into consideration. So why? Because your stress and strains are directly proportional. Even you can derive derivation by considering even the strain values. Okay, so since the longitudinal stress is constant throughout the length of the member, obviously the strain also will be constant. Okay, so as we know, your stress is directly proportional to strain. So with respect to that, since the longitudinal strain, which is epsilon L, is constant throughout its length. When the stress is constant, obviously your strain also will be constant. Epsilon L is equal to sigma L by E. So why? Because we all know Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain. Strain is equal to stress by Young's modulus minus mu into sigma C by E minus mu into sigma R by E. So why your longitudinal strain is a part of these three? Why? Because your strip is subjected to all these three stresses which are perpendicular to each other. Perpendicular to each other. If you see, all these three stresses are perpendicular to each other, okay, within the plane. So, but since your longitudinal stress 1 by m, okay, nothing but Poisson's ratio, Young's modulus are constant. Why? Because they are all constant. Why they are constant? They're all isotropic. So where they're gonna have the identical elastic constants. So in our assumption itself, we made an assumption your material is homogeneous and isotropic. When the material is homogeneous and isotropic, the material identical constants will also be same. So these are called identical elastic constants. Okay, your E is same for the whole material. Your Poisson's ratio is same for the whole material. So by taking these two as constant, so 1 by m anna mu anna okate. Okay, so 1 by m anna mu anna okate. So by taking these two as constant, right? So your sigma c minus sigma r is equal to constant. Sigma c minus sigma r is nothing but 2 times of a raskochu. And by putting that into consideration, sigma c is equal to sigma r plus 2 times of a. Okay, so a is nothing but constant parameter. So substituting these sigma c in an equation 1, sorry, in an equation 3. So what is your equation 3? Your equation 3 is longitudinal stress, sorry, circumferential stress, which is sigma c is equal to minus sigma r minus r into d sigma r by dr. So please try to substitute that sigma c in this equation. What is this equation? So this is an equilibrium equation. How we achieved this equation? So this equation is equating your bursting force to the circumferential, radial stress to the, bursting force to the resisting force. So by equating these two, we achieved this equation. Okay, in this, substitute your circumferential stress, right? So by substituting your circumferential stress in this equation, so your sigma r plus 2a is equal to minus sigma r minus r into d sigma r by dr. Okay, so you have to substitute it in this equation. So finally, what you're going to get it here, will it come down or no? I think okay.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
we have class at the 10:30, sir.
10:30. Oh, so what is your class, Amma?
Structural analysis.
Yeah, no. So actually, anyway, it's a 1 hour, right? No. See, any class is 1 hour, right? So from 10:30 to 11:30, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me take the 10 minutes. So by that, whenever you start, it will automatically up to 40 minutes, right? So no issue. Let me finish this.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, I already messaged with Balakrishna, sir. Let me finish it. Yeah. So substitute your circumferential stress of sigma r of 2a in this equation. So what you will get, sigma r plus 2a is equal to minus sigma r minus r into d sigma r by dr. D sigma r by dr is equal to minus 2 times of sigma r plus a by r. So d sigma r by sigma r plus a is equal to minus 2 into dr by r. So integrating both sides, we get what we will get by integrating these two, log e of sigma r plus a is equal to minus 2 log e into r plus log e into b. Okay, by integrating these two, so this is log e of sigma r plus a minus 2 of log e r plus log e into b. So where b is the another constant. So what is this log e into b? Log e into b is constant of integration. Constant of integration. Okay, so that's how log e into b is a constant when you do integration of minus 2 into dr by r. So by keeping that as a constant, log E of sigma r plus A is equal to log E of B by R square. Okay, so where log E into B is a constant of an integration. So by that, log E into B by R square. So where sigma r plus A is equal to B by R square. So from this, sigma r is equal to B by R square minus A. And what will be your circumferential stress? B by R square plus A. So these two are the radial stress and circumferential stresses which are going to be derived based on your Lami's equation.
Sir,
Yeah,
sigma C minus B by R square plus A వస్తుంది కదా సార్?
sigma C.
Minus B by R square plus A.
That's what minus B by R square plus A is. So అదే మైనస్ అంటే దాన్ని మనం ముందు తీసుకొస్తున్నాం. అంటే రేడియల్ స్ట్రెస్ ఇస్ మైనస్ A B by R square. So by that we can write it as B by R square minus A, which is your radial stress. B by R square plus A will be your circumferential stress. సో మీరేమంటున్నారు? మైనస్ A ప్లస్ B by R square అంటున్నారు, అవునా? Isn't it? Minus A plus B by R square. So దాన్ని B by R square minus A గా కూడా రాయొచ్చు. So where this is your radial stress and this is your circumferential stress. In this, the constant, what are these A and B? These A and B are going to be constants and which are going to be evaluated from the known internal and external radial pressures. Okay, at radial radius also. So it may be noted that in the above equation, as we know, your radial stress is under compression. So anduvalla me minus is going to be thing and your circumferential stress is under tension. Okay, so how to calculate these two constants? These two constants are A and B, which are going to be calculated based on the internal and external radial pressures. Okay, so keep these two formulas in your mind: B by R square minus A, B by R square plus A. And how to calculate this A and B? So these A and B are going to be calculated based on the internal and external pressures and radiuses. Okay, Arundu Goda, just let me write. So why we have to take this A and B's are constant to make your derivation so simple. So we have took this A and B's are constant. So now let me write what are that A and B. So with respect to the internal and external pressures and radius. So your A constant as A and B are constants. A can be written as P1 R1 square minus P2 R2 square by R2 square minus R1 square. And what is your B? B is nothing but R1 square R2 square by R2 square minus R1 square of P1 minus P2. Okay, so these two are the formulas where A and B's are going to be calculated. So if you see or observe the formulas of A and B, these two are depending only on pressure, so which is internal and external pressure, and it depends on radius of thick cylinder in the both internal and external. Okay, so this is how you are going to solve the problems to calculate your radial stress and circumferential stress with respect to the internal pressure and external pressure, at the same time with respect to the internal radius of the thick cylinder and same external radius towards the outer layer of the thick cylinders from the center of the section. Okay, so by keeping these two in mind, you are going to calculate your radial stress and the circumferential stress. The only difference in these two formulas is the sign. So why? Because your radial stress is under compression and your circumferential